For two reasons. The first one is that these topics cover some of the most important issues in the field of protection of human rights, especially the first one, domestic violence. We know that this is still a dramatic reality in our countries. Is probably one of the most widespread phenomena of violation of human rights, also in the so-called most civilized countries. And so it is important that we make any effort in order to prevent this kind of violence and to create public opinion and to improve our educational tools and the involvement of school and university. This is one of the main issues of the Istanbul Conventions, because women play a very important role in our society at all levels, not only, I would say, in the ordinary life, but also in the extraordinary situation. The example of migration and refugees is clear. Even the women play an important role, and they are the first victim of the situation. And also the other two issues are very important. Corruption is a cancer of our society, and bioethics is something that touches the life of every single human being, from the birth to the death of the human being. And the second reason is that in these fields we already have some important examples of networking in the academic field. We have a lot of researchers who are already connecting. We have research groups. We have cooperation in teaching or educational program, and so we do not start from zero. And so we thought that for these two reasons, it makes sense that we start from here, our initiative. The initiative is to create network. This is not to ignore what already exist, but to use and to put in touch people, universities, academic centers who work in this field in order to support what in the national parliaments or in the national organizations is done in order to protect human rights. Well, there are different aims. First of all, to share knowledge, of course, research, to create research data at an international level. Second, to create cooperation in the teaching field and educational field. Universities can create some joint program at national or international level for students who want to specialize in some fields, and but also cooperating for the education of professionals. For example, medical doctors in the field of bioethics, or policemen or social workers in the other field, and then to create at national level some observatories on the legislation, national legislation, but in some cases also regional legislation, and then to create a laboratory of ideas, because of course, we need to have a permanent monitoring regarding the our convention system and to understand if there are new phenomena that have to be considered, if our convention system has to be more developed in order to cover new violation of the human rights and so on. So the aim is twofold. On one side, we think that the values of the Council of Europe can find a good reception in the field of the universities, where people who are very sensitive to human rights live and work every day, and we need to have this public opinion supporting our convention, not only the legislator, but also the public opinion, especially the new generation, so they can be our ambassadors, not the Council of Europe, but the ambassadors of the human rights, of democracy and rule of law. And on the other side, they can give us new ideas. We would like very much to involve the young people, young scholars, PhD students, young professionals. They have to be the real protagonist of the academic network, creating events in which they can share their ideas and proposals and the result of the research work. And so we really hope to have this kind of cooperation between international organizations and the European civil society. I think that the connection is clear and is useful for both sides because this program of training of legal professionals, and not only legal professionals, but I know that in some fields like in bioethics and biomedicine there is a cooperation also with medical doctors and so on. They need for the training the expertise that the academic world can provide. They need to have a permanent contact with the research center in order to have updated education, especially in fields in which there are a lot of new developments every day, again in bioethics, but also in the corruption field. There are new phenomena that need to be understood and analyzed by the researchers. And on the other side, the academic networks can be helped by the HELP program because they already have a concrete platform. They have a network in the 47 countries. They are well known, and they are a guarantee of a good quality product, if I may say. And so the cooperation between these two sides can be really useful for both of them. Yes, definitely yes. The ambition is to create not only networks in these three fields, and this process has already started, but also in other fields. For example, in the Convention on Terrorism, there is an interest for a cooperation between universities and research centers on the issue of security, and I think that it is important if the Council of Europe gives in this field its proper contribution, that is how to combine security and respect for human rights, which is one of the most important issues for our societies. But also in other fields where we have conventions, I think, for example, for the protection of cultural heritage in the different national countries and so on, there is a lot to do. And so I think that we can start from here, but we can have in the future new initiatives in new fields.